The crystalline command deck of the Nexarian flagship, Eternal Dominion, hummed with an otherworldly energy as Supreme Executor Vyxthara studied the holographic projection of Earth. Her iridescent scales shifted colors in the ambient light, reflecting her growing irritation. The planet before her seemed insignificant, a mere speck in the vast expanse of space that the Nexarian Empire had conquered over millennia. "Tell me again why we waste time observing this primitive world," Vyxthara demanded, her multifaceted eyes narrowing as she addressed her council. The assembled alien leaders stood at attention, their biomechanical augmentations gleaming under the ship's atmospheric lighting. High General Zextor stepped forward, his battle-scarred exoskeleton bearing the marks of 1,000 successful conquests. "Supreme Executor, our long-range scans show they've barely mastered basic space flight. They still rely on chemical propulsion. Their weapons are—" He paused, mandibles clicking in amusement, "nuclear fission-based." Meanwhile, on Earth, in a facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Rodriguez stared at data readings that shouldn't have been possible. The quantum fluctuation patterns on her screen suggested something massive was approaching Earth, something that conventional radar systems couldn't detect. "Director Patel," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You need to see this." The facility's director hurried over, his usual composed demeanor showing cracks as he reviewed the data. Back on the Eternal Dominion, Science Director Mir-Illa approached the Supreme Executor, her crystalline data tablet pulsing with information. "There is something unusual in the data, Your Excellence. The humans' rate of technological advancement has been negligible," Vyxthara interrupted. "They've had the same basic technology for the past 50 years. They fight amongst themselves over resources their primitive mining can't efficiently extract. They would make excellent labor stock for the mining colonies of Nexus Prime." But Mirilla persisted. "The pattern is irregular, Supreme Executor. Their advancement doesn't follow standard technological progression curves. It's as if—" She hesitated, knowing her next words could be considered heresy, as if they're hiding something. In the underground facility, Dr. Rodriguez and Director Patel had assembled Earth's Secret Defense Council. Representatives from every major nation attended via quantum-encrypted channels that didn't rely on conventional communications infrastructure. "The quantum shield is ready," Elena announced, her holographic presentation showing a network of satellites that officially didn't exist. When they come, they'll find Earth isn't what they expect." Director Patel nodded grimly. "Operation Silent Guardian is fully operational. Every major city has its quantum core installed. They think we're decades away from this technology, but humanity has always excelled at keeping secrets, even from ourselves." The Eternal Dominion's War Council continued their deliberation, unaware of the true nature of their intended conquest. Fleet Commander Rixfall presented the invasion plans with confidence. "We'll begin with their military installations. Primitive as they are, their nuclear weapons could cause unnecessary damage to the mining resources we seek." Vyxthara approved the plans with a gesture of her upper appendages. "The invasion fleet will launch within one planetary rotation. Prepare the colonization units." She turned to gaze at the blue planet once more. Such a primitive species. They don't even have unified planetary governance. This will be the easiest conquest in our history. As if in response to her words, deep in Earth's oceans, automated factories that officially didn't exist continued producing quantum-enhanced weaponry. In underground bases, pilots trained on simulators for ships that weren't supposed to exist for another century. And in Dr. Rodriguez's facility, the quantum shield network hummed to life, invisible to all conventional detection methods. "They think we're primitive," Elena murmured, watching the alien fleet's quantum signature grow stronger on her monitors. "That's humanity's greatest advantage. We've always been underestimated." Director Patel placed a hand on her shoulder. "And we've always exceeded expectations when it mattered most." He looked at the global defense readiness indicators, all showing green. "Let them come. Earth is ready." Above the planet, Supreme Executor Voyaxthara gave the final order for invasion preparation, completely unaware that she was about to lead her empire into the most catastrophic miscalculation in its history. The humans weren't just ready, they were waiting. And soon, the Nexarian Empire would learn why it was dangerous to underestimate a species that had survived countless extinction-level events and emerged stronger each time. The greatest war in human history was about to begin, and only one side knew it was coming. The orbital defense platform designated Aegis 7 didn't officially exist. Disguised as a defunct weather satellite, it housed some of humanity's most advanced quantum weaponry. Commander Reina Takashi stood in its observation deck, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath her. The blue marble seemed peaceful from up here, no sign of the frantic preparations taking place on its surface. Her neural implant pinged with an incoming transmission from ground control. Commander, quantum sensors have detected increased activity from the approaching fleet. They're moving into attack formation. In the Nexarian fleet, Science Officer Krellmore worked frantically in his laboratory aboard the support vessel Twilight Seeker. His latest analysis of human communication patterns had revealed something disturbing. He manipulated the holographic display, trying to make sense of the data streams. "This can't be right," he muttered, his bioluminescent spots pulsing with anxiety. The official reports showed humans using primitive radio waves and fiber optics for communication. But buried beneath that obvious traffic, he detected quantum fluctuations that suggested something far more advanced. The door to his lab slid open with a soft hiss. Fleet Commander Rixfall entered, his ceremonial armor gleaming. "The Supreme Executor demands your final report, scientist. Our invasion begins in 6 hours." Krellmore's appendages trembled slightly. "Commander, I must request an audience with the Supreme Executor. These readings." "Your concerns have been noted and dismissed," Rixfall interrupted. "The War Council has already approved the invasion plan. Do not test the Supreme Executor's patience with more paranoid theories." On Earth, in the Quantum Defense Command Center beneath Mount Fuji, Dr. Rodriguez worked with her international team to fine-tune the planetary shield grid. Holographic displays showed the status of quantum cores installed in major cities worldwide. "Beijing core synchronized," announced Dr. Wei from his station. "Shanghai and Tokyo cores responding within optimal parameters." Director Patel entered the command center, accompanied by General Marcus O'Connor, the newly appointed commander of Earth's Unified Defense Forces. The general's cybernetic eye scanned the room, processing tactical data in real time. "How long can the shield hold against their main weapons?" O'Connor asked, his voice grave. Elena pulled up a simulation. "Based on our analysis of their energy signatures, the quantum shield should withstand their primary weapons indefinitely. The real question is whether our counteroffensive capabilities are ready." In high orbit, Commander Takashi received the final activation codes for Aegis 7's weapon systems. Similar platforms around the globe powered up silently, their quantum signatures masked by specialized stealth fields. "All orbital platforms report ready," her AI assistant confirmed. "Nanoswarm weapons primed but dormant. Quantum torpedoes loaded. Consciousness transfer backup systems online." Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Supreme Executor Voyaxthara reviewed the final invasion plan. The holographic display showed Earth's major military installations, population centers, and industrial complexes, all marked for the first wave of attacks. "Such primitive defenses," she mused, manipulating the display with graceful movements. "Their most advanced fighters still rely on jet propulsion. Their satellites are blind to our approach. This victory will cement my place in Imperial history." In his lab, Krellmore made one last attempt to analyze the anomalous readings. His specialized sensors had detected something else, microscopic machines pervading Earth's atmosphere. The humans called it pollution, but its distribution pattern was too uniform, too purposeful. He sent his findings to High Command anyway, knowing they would likely be ignored. The Empire's arrogance had grown with each easy conquest, but something about this one felt different. Wrong. Back in the Quantum Defense Center, Elena received an alert from one of their deep space monitoring stations. The Nexarian fleet had begun its final approach. She opened a channel to all defense commands worldwide. "This is Dr. Rodriguez. Operation Silent Guardian is now active. All quantum cores to full power. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for." General O'Connor stepped onto the command platform. "All military forces are in position. Conventional forces will maintain normal patterns to avoid tipping our hand. Quantum-enhanced units are ready for deployment on my mark." In orbit, Commander Takashi watched as her tactical display lit up with hundreds of incoming ships. The Nexarian fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, their massive ships blocking out the stars. "Let them come," she whispered, her hand hovering over the quantum shield activation controls. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity had known this day would come, had prepared for it, while maintaining a carefully crafted facade of technological backwardness. Supreme Executor Vyxthara raised her primary appendage, preparing to give the order that would begin the invasion. Behind her, Science Director Murillo received Krellmore's final report but set it aside without reading it. The time for analysis was over. The time for conquest had begun. In his lab, Krellmore watched with growing dread as the fleet moved into attack position. He had served the Empire faithfully for decades, but for the first time, he feared they had made a terrible mistake. The humans weren't broadcasting fear or panic on their communication channels. They weren't scrambling their primitive defenses. They were waiting, ready, silent. The greatest space battle in human history was about to begin, and only one side understood the true scale of what was about to unfold. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, and in the next few hours, the Nexarian Empire would learn the cost of their arrogance. Supreme Executor Vyxthara's command echoed through the fleet's quantum network. "Begin the invasion." 15,000 ships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent, opened fire on Earth's major population centers. The space between the fleet and the planet filled with energy weapons that could vaporize mountains. But the devastating barrage never reached its targets. A kilometer from Earth's atmosphere, every energy beam and projectile struck an invisible barrier. The attacks dissipated into quantum foam, their energy absorbed and redirected. For a moment, the planetary shield became visible, a shimmering, iridescent bubble encompassing the entire planet. "Impossible," Vyxthara whispered, her scale shifting to a pale blue of shock. "Their technology level, they couldn't possibly." In the Quantum Defense Center, Dr. Rodriguez watched the shield's strength indicators with satisfaction. "Shield holding at 98% capacity," she announced. "Energy absorption and recycling systems functioning perfectly." She turned to Director Patel and General O'Connor. "Should we show them what else we've been hiding?" The general's cybernetic eye glowed as he accessed the Global Defense Network. "Commander Takashi, you have authorization to proceed with Operation Revelation." In orbit, Commander Takashi's lips curved into a slight smile. "Acknowledged, Command. All Aegis platforms, disengage stealth systems. Activate quantum drives. Battle Formation Delta." The Nexarian fleet's sensors suddenly lit up with dozens of massive structures appearing in Earth's orbit. The defunct satellites transformed, quantum fields rippling as they revealed their true forms, state-of-the-art battle platforms bristling with weapons that matched or exceeded Nexarian technology. On the Twilight Seeker, Krellmore watched in fascination as his instruments detected even more surprises. The pollution in Earth's atmosphere was moving, organizing itself into coherent patterns. "Nanite swarms," he breathed. "They've had atmospheric nanofabrication capability all along." Fleet Commander Rixfall's voice crackled over the command channel, edges of panic creeping in. "Supreme Executor, our weapons have no effect. Their shields are unlike anything we've encountered. We need to retreat and reassess." "No," Vyxthara snarled. "Launch the ground forces. Their shield must have weaknesses. Find them." Transport ships descended toward Earth's surface, carrying millions of Nexarian shock troops. But as they approached the shield barrier, something unexpected happened. The atmospheric nanites coalesced into visible shapes, enormous, silvery dragons and mythical beasts that moved with impossible grace. Neuralink nanoswarm constructs, Krellmore muttered, recording everything. They've weaponized their mythology. The nanodragons tore through the transport ships like they were made of paper. Those that made it through faced another surprise. Earth's primitive military forces were anything but. Tanks transformed into quantum-enhanced battle platforms. Fighter jets revealed hidden capabilities, their standard engines replaced with gravity drive systems. In the Quantum Defense Center, Elena received a priority alert. They're attempting to hack our communication networks, she reported. Shall we let them in? Director Patel nodded. Show them why that's a mistake. When the Nexarian cyber warfare specialists breached Earth's primitive digital defenses, they found themselves facing something unprecedented, a quantum AI that had been waiting for them. Their consciousness transfer technology, considered unmatched in the galaxy, proved inadequate against Earth's digital defenses. Supreme Executor VYX Thura watched in horror as a third of her fleet systems went dark, their crews trapped in a quantum consciousness maze. Another third of her ships reported critical failures as Earth's nanoswarms infiltrated their hull integrity fields. Fall back, she ordered, her pride finally breaking. All ships, emergency retreat. Get us out of this system. But retreat proved as difficult as invasion. The Aegis platforms had created a quantum gravity web, trapping the Nexarian fleet in normal space. Commander Takashi's voice broadcast on all frequencies, in perfect Nexarian language. Your ships are trapped. Your weapons are useless. Your troops are defeated. Surrender now, or we will be forced to demonstrate our offensive capabilities. In his laboratory, Krellmore finished transmitting his findings to a secure database. The humans hadn't just matched Nexarian technology, they had surpassed it in several key areas. Their quantum manipulation techniques, their nanofabrication, their AI systems, all carefully hidden until the moment of truth. On the Eternal Dominions bridge, Science Director Mirilla finally read Krellmore's earlier report. Supreme Executor, she said, her voice shaking, you need to see this. The humans, they've been watching us for decades. They knew we were coming. Everything, their primitive appearance, their technological stagnation, their political divisions, it was all a deception. General O'Connor's voice boomed across the quantum network. This is Earth's Unified Defense Command to the Nexarian fleet. Your invasion has failed. Your forces are contained. We have disabled your faster-than-light capabilities. Prepare to be boarded. The greatest military power in known space had just discovered a terrible truth. They had grossly underestimated humanity. In trying to conquer Earth, they had awakened a sleeping giant, one that had spent decades preparing for this very moment. And now, that giant was wide awake and ready to show the galaxy exactly what humanity could do. The command deck of the Eternal Dominion had fallen silent. Supreme Executor VYX Thura watched helplessly as human boarding parties, protected by personal quantum shields, methodically secured key systems throughout her fleet. The mighty Nexarian armada, terror of 1,000 worlds, had been reduced to floating hulks in Earth's orbit. Report, she demanded, her voice hollow. Science Director Mirilla's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with distress as she analyzed the incoming data. 700 ships completely disabled by nanoswarm infiltration. 500 more trapped in quantum stasis fields. The remaining vessels have lost all FTL capabilities. We are at their mercy. On the bridge of Aegis, 7, Commander Takashi coordinated with the boarding teams. Her neural implant interfaced directly with Earth's quantum defense grid, giving her real-time updates from every theater of the battle. All primary targets secured, she reported to command. Minimal casualties on both sides. In the Quantum Defense Center, DR. Rodriguez and her team monitored a different kind of battle. The Nexarians' automated defense systems were still fighting their quantum AI, but it wasn't really a fight anymore. It was a teaching moment. Their technology is remarkable, Elena mused, watching the data streams, but they stopped innovating. They thought they were at the peak of evolution. while we knew we were just beginning. The door slid open, and General O'Connor entered with an unexpected guest. Krellmore, the Nexarian scientist, had surrendered himself to Earth forces, bringing crucial intelligence. "They're coming," Krellmore announced without preamble, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into clear English. The Second Fleet. 20,000 ships, including the Emperor's personal world ship. They received the distress call before we lost communications. Director Patel's expression remained calm. "How long?" 3 days at maximum FTL speed. The general's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed tactical scenarios. "Can we expect the same level of arrogance from them?" Krellmore's bioluminescence flickered with what might have been amusement. "No. The Emperor is different, more cautious, more ruthless. He will have analyzed the battle data we transmitted. He knows what you're capable of now." In orbit, Commander Takashi received new orders. The quantum gravity web surrounding the captured Nexarian fleet began to shift, creating a corridor. "Attention all Earth forces," she broadcast. "Operation Starborn is now in effect. Begin Phase 1. The Aegis platforms started to move. Not just move, transform. The massive stations linked together, quantum fields merging, reorganizing matter at the subatomic level. Where there had been separate defense platforms, now a massive structure took shape. "My God," Krellmore whispered, watching the transformation on the command center's displays. "You build a mobile fortress. A quantum-enabled space dock." Elena smiled. "We built 12 of them, actually. They've been disguised as orbital debris fields around Jupiter and Saturn. Would you like to see what they're designed to launch?" Deep within the solar system's gas giants, massive construction projects that had been hidden for decades began to activate. Quantum cores powered up, gravity drives engaged, and vessels unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen emerged from their hiding places. In the Quantum Defense Center, General O'Connor addressed the Global Command Network. "Operation Starborn is proceeding as planned. All planetary defense forces maintain current positions. Space Force 1 through 12, prepare for deployment." Director Patel turned to Krellmore. "Your empire thought we were primitive because we hadn't colonized our solar system. The truth is, we were using those resources for something else. The displays showed them now, Earth's secret fleet. Ships that combined the best of human innovation with reverse-engineered alien technology. Vessels powered by quantum cores that could manipulate the fabric of space itself. An armada that had been built not just for defense, but for taking the fight to the stars." On the Eternal Dominion's bridge, Supreme Executor Viwaxthara received the transmission from Earth's command. The humans were offering terms, not of surrender, but of cooperation. They wanted access to Nexarian star charts, diplomatic channels, and trade networks. They're planning to announce themselves to the galaxy, Mir Illa realized. Not as victims or conquered subjects, but as equals. As a power to be reckoned with. In the Quantum Defense Center, Elena watched as the first wave of Earth ships took position around the captured Nexarian fleet. Each vessel represented decades of secret development, countless breakthroughs in physics and engineering, and humanity's unrelenting drive to reach the stars. "Send word to the Emperor's fleet," General O'Connor ordered. "Tell them Earth is ready to negotiate as equals. And if they prefer combat." He gestured to the massive fleet assembling in orbit. "We're ready for that too." The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just defending itself anymore. They were stepping onto the galactic stage, armed with technology that had been refined in secret for generations. The age of hiding was over. The sleeping giant wasn't just awake now, it was ready to reshape the galaxy. The Emperor's world ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, its massive form dwarfing the 20,000 vessels that accompanied it. Emperor Zyrak of the Nexarian Empire stood in his observation dome, his ancient eyes fixed on the distant blue planet that had brought his civilization's expansion to a halt. "Show me," he commanded. The space around him filled with holographic displays showing Earth's revealed military might. Quantum-enabled fortresses floated in precise formation. A fleet of ships unlike anything in known space stood ready for combat. And scattered throughout the system, clouds of nanoswarms waited like silver storms. "Fascinating," the Emperor mused. They hid all of this from our best surveillance. The question is, what else are they hiding? On Earth, in the newly revealed Global Command Center beneath the Pacific Ocean, humanity's leaders had assembled. Not as separate nations, but as a unified species. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before them, presenting the final phase of Operation Starborn. The Emperor's fleet has arrived, she announced, but they haven't moved past Neptune's orbit. Their weapons are powered down. They're waiting. Director Patel nodded to General O'Connor. Send the invitation. In the Quantum Defense Center, Commander Takashi worked with Krellmore to craft the message. The Nexarian scientist had proven invaluable, helping humanity understand the broader galactic political landscape they were about to enter. Your Emperor believes himself to be the most powerful being in known space, Krellmore noted as they worked. How will he handle discovering he's not? The message was sent, an invitation to Earth, not for combat or surrender talks, but for a diplomatic summit. A chance to reshape the relationship between their species before more blood was shed. Emperor Zyrak received the message personally. His advisors waited tensely as he considered Earth's offer. Finally, he spoke. These humans, they could have destroyed our first fleet. Instead, they disabled it, captured it. They show restraint with their power. Interesting. The Emperor's world ship began to move, but not toward Earth. Instead, it transmitted a request that shocked both sides. The summit should be held in neutral space, halfway between their forces. More surprisingly, the Emperor invited representatives from other galactic civilizations to attend. 3 days later, humanity made its official debut on the galactic stage. The newly commissioned diplomatic vessel Unity approached the designated coordinates. Dr. Rodriguez and General O'Connor represented Earth's military and scientific communities, while Director Patel spoke for its political interests. They were met by an unprecedented gathering. Not just the Nexarian Emperor, but representatives from a dozen major galactic civilizations. Some had come out of curiosity, others out of concern about the sudden shift in power dynamics. Emperor Zyrak opened the proceedings with words that would be recorded in 1,000 histories. We have ruled space for 10,000 years, believing ourselves the peak of evolution. Today, we learned we were wrong. Today, we meet humanity. What followed was not just a peace treaty, but a reformation of galactic society. Earth revealed the true extent of its technological achievements. Quantum engineering that surpassed anything known, nanofabrication techniques that could reshape matter itself, and artificial intelligence that blurred the lines between organic and digital consciousness. But humanity's greatest revelation wasn't technological. Dr. Rodriguez presented Earth's proposal, an open exchange of knowledge and culture. Not conquest or subjugation, but true cooperation. We hid our progress not out of fear, she explained to the assembled aliens, but because we wanted to understand the galaxy first. To emerge not as conquerors or victims, but as partners. The impact was immediate. Species that had been subjugated by the Nexarians saw an opportunity for freedom. Those that had stayed neutral recognized the potential for advancement. Even the proud Nexarians found themselves intrigued by the possibility of genuine technological exchange. One by one, the representatives approached the human delegation. Trade agreements were proposed. Cultural exchanges were arranged. Military alliances were discussed. Earth wasn't just joining galactic civilization, it was transforming it. In the closing moments of the summit, Emperor Zyrak made a final address. For millennia, we thought power came from conquest. Humanity has shown us a different path. They could have met our aggression with destruction. Instead, they offer wisdom. Perhaps it is we who were the primitive ones. As the Unity made its way back to Earth, Dr. Rodriguez stood at its observation window, watching the assembled alien ships. Centuries of human science fiction had imagined this moment, humanity's first steps into a wider galaxy. But none had predicted this. Earth emerging not as underdogs or conquerors, but as teachers. The age of hiding was over. The age of human innovation had begun. And as ships from a dozen worlds followed the Unity back to Earth for the first official galactic embassy, one thing became clear. Humanity hadn't just survived first contact. They had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. The sleeping giant was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same.